Eminem's ex-spouse confronted Achooz today, accused of violating her probation whilst she changed into examined for pills. Why the Decide turned into so impressed with Kim Mathers, and why he decided to rule in her want. The court fell silent because the judge introduced the very last ruling, one that would seal Kim Mathers' destiny once and for all. Kim Mathers is the previous spouse of Detroit rapper Eminem. She averted standing trial for using below the have an effect on through pleading no contest these days. Best called Eminem's ex-wife, Kim has spent years inside the public eye, entangled in controversy, addiction battles, and a turbulent dating with the rap icon. Now, after years of legal issues and personal struggles that she has on her own, without any order of the court, to switch over to SoberLink, the sentence is final. But is this surely the end of her story? Let's dive into the shocking details in the back of the decision that has everyone talking, the nighttime that modified the whole thing. Kim Mathers, 2015 DUI incident. If there was ever a moment that shifted the public belief of Kim Mathers, it was the nighttime of October 7th, 2015. On that fateful night, Eminem's ex-wife discovered herself at the center of a harrowing crash in Macomb Township, Michigan. Driving a black Cadillac Escalade, she veered off the street, struck a utility pole, and in the long run landed the other way up in a ditch. At first look, it appeared to be yet another DUI case, an unlucky but commonplace headline. But as info emerged, the reality proved some distance extra unsettling. According to police reports, Kim later admitted she had ate up an entire fifth of Malibu rum before getting behind the wheel. When first responders arrived, she became visibly distressed, and what first of all appeared like reckless drunk using quickly took a darker turn. The case turned into in brief sealed, fueling speculation that her ties to Eminem may manage to pay for her special remedy. But Kim, determined to be transparent, had the data unsealed. Then, in a shocking radio interview on Mojo within the morning, she revealed that her crash had been no twist of fate. It became an attempt to take her very own existence. This wasn't just a DUI, it became a cry for assist. The public reaction was divided. Some sympathized, along with her struggles, spotting her battle with addiction and intellectual fitness problems, even as others argued that suicidal reason did not erase the threat she posed to different drivers. Regardless, it changed into clean the courtroom needed to tread cautiously. Should she face the full force of the law, or should her mental kingdom component into the sentencing? The 2015 incident wasn't the first time Kim had determined herself entangled in prison trouble. In July 2001, she changed into arrested, following an encounter with the Macomb County Sheriff's Marine Division. Reports from that nighttime said that a white powdery substance became observed within the police vehicle after a delivery, sparking suspicions of drug involvement. Over the years, she confronted various costs. Eminem's ex-wife confronted a judge these days, accused of violating her probation while she became tested for pills, including drug ownership and exquisite warrants, reinforcing the concept that felony issues had long shadowed her existence. By the time her 2015 DUI case reached sentencing, public anticipation was at an all-time high. Many predicted a harsh punishment, possibly even prison time, but in a surprising flip, the Decide handed down a extra measured sentence: probation, fines, and mandatory substance trying out. Critics decried it as any other case of celebrity privilege, even as supporters noticed it as an acknowledgement of someone in disaster who wanted assist more than punishment. Beyond legal results, the crash symbolized a deeper struggle. That 12 months, Kim lost someone expensive, intensifying her battle with depression and dependency. Personal tragedy, emotional turmoil, and public scrutiny all converged that October night, shaping the subsequent bankruptcy of her lifestyles. But right here's the real query. Was Kim's 2015 DUI sentence a superstar privilege or a lifeline for a person in disaster? Stay tuned. The reality is more complex than it appears. A fateful meeting, the tumultuous beginnings of Kim and Eminem. Kimberly Ann Scott was only a teen in Warren, Michigan, looking to break out an existence of turmoil. She and her dual sister Dawn ran far from home at just 13 years antique, fleeing a family plagued by instability and abuse. Their mother Kathleen and a reportedly violent stepfather created a surrounding so poisonous that leaving wasn't an act of insurrection. It was a determined bid for survival. The sisters located transient shelter in an adolescent shelter close to Detroit, but their battle was some distance from over. Then in 1988, everything changed. At a house party, 12-month-old Kim located herself interested in a formidable younger rapper named Marshall Mathers. Standing on a espresso desk, mimicking LL Cool J's "I'm Bad," Marshall commanded the room's attention. Kim, cigarette in hand, stood in the doorway, watching with curiosity. Something about him captivated her, and in that moment their fates had become intertwined. Not long after, Eminem's mother, Debbie Nelson, took Kim in, giving her a place to stay while she had nowhere else to head. But their courting turned into volatile from the start. Both have been teens harassed with emotional wounds. Marshall turned into suffering to make experience of his world through rap. When I rap approximately violence, or you realize sound like I'm selling violence, while Kim clung to whatever that felt like stability. Their dating swung among deep devotion and fiery battle, with both finding comfort in each different, whilst also fueling each other's frustrations. The late 1980s and early 90s have been hard years. Eminem had but to find success, and financial struggles brought to the pressure. They moved inside and outside of Debbie's residence, seeking to make matters paintings in spite of the chaos. Then, on December 25th, 1995, their daughter, Haley Jade, turned into born. It became a moment that must have introduced Wish. However, as a substitute, it intensified the stress. Now, a father, Marshall felt the burden of responsibility like by no means before. Their living conditions were tough. I'm a person too. I think I actually have extra to offer than just my dad, surrounded by crime and dependency. And his desperation to provide for his family only deepened his starvation for success. While Eminem poured his struggles into his track, but as a ways is like what has changed, not anything certainly modified. As some distances the manner I technique music or anything like that, Kim was left to navigate motherhood even as still struggling with the traumas of her beyond. Their love turned into passionate but unpredictable, one day inseparable, the following locked in screaming arguments. Friends recalled the intense highs and lows, as though the couple were constantly teetering between love and destruction. Despite the turmoil, Kim stood by means of Marshall in his early years, helping his song desires even when they'd barely enough cash to live to tell the tale. She changed into there at his underground gigs, cheering him on, never realizing that someday their story, both its triumphs and tragedies, would be immortalized in his lyrics. As Eminem's talent finally commenced to capture the world's attention, their relationship was examined in approaches neither of them could have imagined. What started as two lost young adults finding solace in each different could soon spiral into a high-stakes war between love, repute, and private demons, one which the entire world could in the end witness. Eminem and Kim, a shared conflict with addiction. It changed into a conflict that both she and Eminem fought facet via facet, although in distinctive methods. While Kim's struggles regularly made headlines, Eminem controlled to hold his substance abuse hidden for years. But in the back of the song, the fame and the personality of Slim Shady Marshall Mathers turned into drowning in a global of capsules, denial, and self-destruction. It started subtly, because it regularly does. In an interview, Eminem admitted that the first time he took a Vicodin, it felt like everything slowed down, the ache dulled, and lifestyles had become more bearable. He didn't suppose it'd become a problem, at least no longer before everything. But dependency crept in quietly, developing stronger with every pill. The greater he took, the greater he craved, until it had become a dependency he could not escape. Like Kim, Eminem resisted individuals who attempted to inform him he had a problem. He convinced himself that because he wasn't using harder capsules like heroin or cocaine, he turned into in control. But in fact, he became anything. However, by the mid-2000s, his addiction had spiraled, and in 2007, it nearly killed him. After taking a huge dose of methadone without understanding its efficiency, he collapsed. His organs began shutting down, and docs warned that if he had arrived at the health facility just 2 hours later, he wouldn't have survived.